Hey guys and gals, this is Bloggy of the Broken Legion of Gamers, and as you can see, I have finished building the clones from my first Clone Wars core set. But there's just one little problem. They don't exactly have a commander yet. So, in this video, since I'm only building one of my two Obi-Wans, I'm going to build him in front of you guys. And for the newcomers to the hobby, I'm going to quickly go through some of the tools that you need to build Obi-Wan, and one optional one that just makes things easier. The first thing that you're going to need is super glue. I either recommend the Loctite Super Glue Ultra Control Gel or the Gorilla Glue Super Glue Gel. Today, I'm going to be using the Loctite because I personally like the Loctite better. I feel it dries faster and feels it has a stronger bond. The Gorilla Glue, you get more for your money. You get 15 grams as opposed to the Loctite only getting 4 grams. So your money stretches a little bit further. Mileage may vary. Both of these are good glues. I just prefer the Loctite. And then you also need a X-Acto knife to scrape away mold lines. You can replace this for a more expensive option, the Citadel mold line remover. That's what I use, just out of preference. To tell you the truth, it's definitely a luxury item. You don't need it, but it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. But you can also use a file to file down the mold lines. I don't like using the files if I don't have to, because to me sometimes it takes away excess material that would be better to have on the model. And something that you might need is just a little hobby drill, just to drill out the glue, just in case you get some glue that dries on the applicator. But with that all said and done, let's get to building this model. And to tell you the truth, the clones in this box set have went together phenomenally. The only thing I had a little bit of trouble with was the bark speeder, and that was just getting the legs onto the leg rest, but I figured I'd have to do that. I also figured out a little trick on something you can do to build it. This way you've got 2 weapon options for each sidecar. With this one, I went with the dual laser blaster and the rocket launcher. But let's get to building Obi-Wan. Now, unlike the stormtroopers from unlike the models from the first set, mold lines are almost non-existent. You can barely see them. So what I'm just going to do is, in the interest of showing people how to take care of the mold lines, I'm going to get the mold lines from inside his legs, because once he's assembled, I'm not going to be able to do that. It's going to be really hard to do that. I'm going to teach you how to do it with both the X-Acto knife or hobby knife, whichever one you use, and the mold line remover. With a hobby knife, you can maybe see. You can see the mold line like right running down right there. You see how faint it is? I'd almost not worry about it, but since I'm going to be using a wash on him, sometimes washes will settle against the mold line and make it that much more prevalent. Now, with the X-Acto knife, what you're going to do is take the blade and run it backwards along the mold line. That's the easiest way to get rid of it, and it keeps you from possibly hurting yourself. Just run it backwards. You can run it like this, and yeah, it still works, but this is less of a chance of damaging the Mini. Actually, that's Is that a mold line? Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. That's actually a pretty bad mold line if it is. Actually, I'm going to leave. That is actually detail that I'm filing, that I'm actually getting rid of. And then on this leg, the mold line is so faint right there. So that will take the mold line remover. You could just go like this. It'll whiten up the mold line, and then go like this. When you stop feeling the mold line causing friction against your nail, it is gone. But I can't even find the mold line over here. It's so faint. Oh, right there. We're going to get this side because I'm definitely gluing that hand on. Okay. So now the mold lines that definitely need to be removed have been removed. And let's check the head for mold lines. Why not? Fantasy Flight's been really good at hiding the mold lines on these, with these models this time around. They were better with it with the Stormtroopers for this than they were with the Stormtroopers for Imperial Assault. Those mold lines were freaking wicked in Imperial Assault on the Stormtroopers. I thought they were going to be fine. I primed mine, and there was some nasty mold lines. Okay, now before I glue the legs onto the base with Obi-Wan, I'm going to glue his torso onto his legs. Nah, that mold line those mold lines look like they'll pretty much be non-evident because they're, you see, they put the mold lines like right towards the edges of. Okay, it looks like I'm doing more mold line cleanup than I was expecting. That I was planning on doing because, yeah, for the newcomers, I actually just want to show them how to remove mold lines, because mold lines will be the bane to any painter that uses wash or talent in a bottle, as some painters call it. Now with these models, I find it better to put the glue on the part that's going to be the peg that's going to be going into the hole. And with this model, you got a nice little contact point right here. And then just get some glue on this peg right here. And that'll hold the torso together. I love how they, and then also, you see how some glue came out? Have a paper towel around, dab off the glue. This way it doesn't take away some of the details in the miniature. And you're golden. Now the paper towel worked, you could be a little bit slower moving with the paper towel on plastic glue, but on super glue, get it off quick, because the second the super glue loses air, that's when it actually makes that's when it actually dries and hardens. Okay, now that you got the torso and legs together, put a little bit of super glue on the foot, on both feet, and glue your Obi-Wan to the base. Now remember, when you're building your clones, the clones are using the tan bases. The clones use the tan bases, and the droids use the brown bases. And a good strategy to have is before you glue something, just dry fit it to see how it's going to fit into the model. Now, this piece has a little bit of flash. That's why it's had a little bit of flash on the peg, so that's why it's good to have an X-Acto knife so you can scrape off the flash before you put your part onto your model. Okay. That mold line I'll leave alone until right before I'm going to prime Obi-Wan. Okay, let's get a little bit of that excess super glue off. And now Obi-Wan's arm is on his body. And just check out the head. Is there any excess flash? No excess flash. So let's drop some glue onto the head and put the head onto the body. And the head goes onto the body like so. And there's some excess glue there, so we'll get rid of that. We don't want any glue on our nice little clone armor. And normally I would sit here and glue this arm in, but since this arm comes so close and my lightsaber needs a little bit repair. Actually, no, that's actually pretty good. Since the lightsaber comes so close to this arm, I want to put a lot of detail into painting the lightsaber. I'm not going to glue this arm on. I'm going to put some poster putty here. Then I'm going to prime this in sub-assemblies. I'll probably put some poster putty here and prime this way I don't get any glue on the peg in the hole. And then I'll paint up the model and then just glue it together after I'm done painting. So I'm calling this build complete now. Here's your Obi-Wan Kenobi. The stance he took right after his infamous hello there to General Grievous on, I forget what planet that was, but I just watched the movie last night too. Was it Utapau? Yeah, it might have been Utapau. Well, this is your Obi-Wan. This is how Obi-Wan Kenobi looks, and now what you're looking at right there is the full clone side of one Star Wars Legion Clone Wars core set. God, these are so easy to work with. And have so much detail. Personally, I think they've learned a lot since they started with the soft plastics, and these have, to me, these went together better than the Stormtroopers, and they, like the connection points, there's not that much of a gap compared to the Stormtroopers, and also on top of everything, they had much better detail. And due to the fact that they're kind of like almost a ball and socket joint, you can mess with the poses a little bit. Like here's the 2 unit commanders. It's a small little detail, but I posed this gun a little bit differently to make them look different. I posed the head a little differently. With the Stormtroopers, you only had one static pose. These models are head and shoulders above what they were doing with the launch. And this thing looks so much better than the Imperial speeder bikes. And it's a lot bigger, and I'm just amazed by what Fantasy Flight did with this core set. But that's all for this video, guys. I'm thinking about doing my first building live stream on Tuesday at 8 o'clock. I'm thinking about it. I'll let you guys know as it gets closer if that's what I ultimately decided to do. But I'm definitely going to do a building video, one building video for all the clone troopers, the two Phase 1 clone trooper units in my other core set, and then one video just for the Bark speeder bike, because this guy takes a little bit of time to build. I'm not going to lie. And these guys take a little bit of time to build when you're building up the two units. So I'm going to definitely do it in two separate videos. But that's all for this video. If you guys liked what you saw, hit that like button. If you're not, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you can be notified every time I put up a new video. And that's it for this video. Have a nice day, guys.